What up, man? How you doing today? It's an excellent day. We gotta keep the weed lit. So the funny part is, like if you don't have motherfucking MetaQuest, you need to fucking get one. Because now I'll show you the trade that we took. And today's video, we have a lot to talk about. Okay. Now, continuing our talk that we had before about the NASDAQ, because I want people to get to a point where you're not freaking out over easy shit. We spoke about how like the common trader, right? Regardless of whether you're new to ICT or you're old to ICT or you're new to gold back levels or whatever, we spoke about how like there are plenty of situations where you're going to put this dealing range on and you're just going to get to a point where you're freaking out about stuff like this. We talked about how like yes, like your dealing range here, you're playing around with the dealing range highs and lows, and you've gotten to a point where you stopped giving a fuck about like market structure. You get what I mean? You thought the dealing range was the holy grail enough for you to give no fucks about structure anymore. That's not good. I want you to get to a point where you're not freaking out and you're like, very specifically, you're not coming in here like an asshole, taking sells every time, then taking buys, then sells, then buys, then sells, then buys, then sells, just because the dealing range is breaking or not every 10 seconds. Okay. You have to be understanding of, and I'll put it on the screen, but we speak a lot about environment. We speak a lot about liquidity. And just again, I'm not even giving you like I'm giving you the option of setups, right? It's not like a singular setup that I'm telling you to take or a singular mechanical thing I'm telling you to do every time. But what I'm saying is you do not want to be that person to where um you're coming in here, right? And yeah, you using the dealing range correctly is one thing. Yes, you're taking buys here. Yes. But what I'm trying to say, you're not trying to get to a point where every time you're looking at the chart, you're just feeling like you're so confused or you don't trust the structure at all. And you're still trying to get to a point where you're actually trying to sell something like this. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, none of these legs, however we define it, I'm on a 15-minute chart for context. Let's pull it down to a five. Now, I've spoken to you guys about the classic Judah swing. I've talked about it. Again, I give you guys the basic level information, and we talk more about it in mentorship a lot deeper. But my point, you need to be able to come in and understand how to use functionality. You know what I mean? You can tell me all the time you want to about the dealing range, but the problem is, if you're coming in here and you're actually trying to tell me that you are looking at all these legs, and especially at something like this, right? And I totally understand that you're technically focused on the fact that the dealing range is flipping back and forth. So you're looking at something like this and you're assuming that um again, I totally understand where you're gonna try to overthink what's available for you or not. So it's probably really easy if you're new to look at something like this and assume it should just be a downward move again. We were already downside on the day anyway. So now you're probably looking for this to continue lower. And that's just simply not the case. So I want you guys to be out of your head about just the funny lines. We need to be able to understand how to run functionality correctly. So you're not coming in here and like trying to sell this, hell no. Trying to sell this, fuck no. Fuck no. And no, we're definitely not selling some shit like that. And I'll explain why. And like I said, again, you're looking at it left to right, and you're watching this and you're assuming, hey, we didn't break it here, we didn't break the DR here, it's all these wicks here, and you're not sure what's a real displacement or not. That's what the problem comes in for you. Because consistently, yeah, you could probably get away with like, you know, it's all visual anyway. So yes, you can kind of get away with like, you know, looking at the lines first and then caring about structure second. But I just elect that that's not really like my style. We love the dealing ranges and we use them, but I also want you to understand that like if you understand liquidity, your environment, like this stuff is not quite difficult. Now, when it comes to the bias, outside of your funny lines, right? And again, I give this stuff to you guys all the time when we're done because my Discord, we're already paid from the stuff. Therefore, I can tell you about it. So if you're somebody who is just not understanding like how to operate in a week like this, or just not understanding what a week like this really is, right? And I totally get where um someone's going to view this and still think that, oh my God, everything's still open. Oh my God, we got lows. So yeah, you're looking at that dealing range in Asia like, oh yeah, go down, fuck it. No, my bad. I just got distracted by something. Anyway, so I'm looking for like a lot of these situations here, right? But when we spoke about this, I mean, on a basic level. Oh shit. Like just on a basic level. I need you to remember that like there's different versions of liquidity, my friend. So you're not just going to band together everything and still think that everything is fucking open. So when we're viewing this down here, if you watched one of my earlier episodes from last year, right? Cool. So yes, what does that mean? This is now off limits, brother. All this stuff is off limits. So on a very basic level, I'm gonna help everybody that's watching this video with this one idea. You're constantly worried about reversals, right? There's no point to be. I want you to understand something. Liquidity is the name of the game. So outside of the funny lines, you need to start thinking about where we need to go. Okay. So does that mean it's deducing one or the other? You're not going to get to a point where you're like, oh my God, NASDAQ's not going to move. You're feeling like, especially in this Asia area here, you're feeling like you're sandwiched between the highs and the lows, and you're just not really sure what area to participate toward. Solution for you is to start to think about like again, what do we already do? We are operating with the daily version of liquidity, my friend. Wednesday already took out the Monday and the Tuesday lows. And not to say it like that, but look at the shape. Look at the shape. Us coming down, we only come down if we have an objective. So when we talk about bullish or bearish, talk to me about what objectives that we still have. Do we actually have lows that are still available? These are off limits once we actually take previous lows. Only way we reopen these Ah, you almost caught me. Ah, I saved that gem for mentorship. Anyway, we will come in here and talk about again on a very basic level. Lows are already taken. So yes, this is a standard turtle soup. So you're looking for buys. So anywhere in this area, sells are now off limits. Anytime you see anything actually remotely coming down, that bitch fake, dog. You get what I'm saying? That bitch fake. All of it. You're not just going to also come in here and start overly thinking what London's doing. All you need to remember is that if you're not going down, you're going up. Okay. So that means you're going to be looking at not the lows, but everything above you is what you would define as your draw of liquidity. Okay. Using daily rates correctly. Judah swing, right? You spoke about that. Sorry. Judah swing. And again, super, super basic idea. Won't go into super detail. Bullish Judah swing. Sell side Judah swing. Like, bro, you realize why I wear a Nike hat in a lot of my videos? Judah swing hat, bro. I'm literally wearing a Judah swing on my head. You ain't never think about that. This is all I'm doing, brother. If you really need to, Nike model, brother. It's fucking simple. That's why I'm teaching it to you. Like I said, go back into my previous videos. I pieced this all together for you. There's a whole masterclass on this stuff in Discord, but if you're looking for anybody who is still thinking that, um, like I said before, that New York is the only real focus, if you're trying to get to this type of level of accuracy and consistency, you're going to need to listen. And I talk about these days where, again, it's not like Asia is completely off limits at all. But you notice how the move, even for New York, starts in Asia, is my point. So there are times where I can show you, yes, plenty of times to get in, quote unquote, early. But this is my thing, right? Let's jump down here. Now, we spoke about the turtle soup. So that means on a basic level, you're going to stop until you get to a real draw of liquidity. You're just going to literally erase sells from your fucking mind. Selling doesn't fucking exist. You can scalp sells. If you want to, but a lot of you are going for gold, right? I mean, you want the big move. So all my European traders, um, speaking about gold, hey, look at that. So speaking about gold, I totally get where someone's going to come in here and think that gold's looking like a piece of shit, right? Yeah, but you need to start breaking your shit down, my brother. Okay. So, for example, well, I mean, you could do it real quick or whatever. I mean, every chart has a AMD cycle that you're looking to follow or whatever. But my point is, same thing. And whoa, what the whoa? Oh, the portal. So this is my point, right? Yeah. You notice how everybody in the world loves to trade gold during New York, right? They love it. But my point to you, right? You need to start giving a fuck about Asia, man. You need to start giving a fuck about Asia. Now, not to say it like that. It's not the only holy grail. There are times where I want you to treat New York differently from obviously like the entire main idea here. But what I'm trying to say is, yes, you can a lot of times find a core entry in Asia that you don't have to fuck with in New York. A lot of people who are just popping into New York, right? They're going through hell in a handbasket to even try to get this buy move here. And not to say it like that, I mean, this is great money, great monies. Yeah, bro, that's excellent. But my problem is, this is better. Just it's better. Yeah, way better. But it's my thing, brother. You got to be understanding of basic shit. No, we don't need a dealing range. And why do we not need the dealing range? Because shit be simple, bro. Shit be simple, dog. Shit be simple. They took a low in Asia, right? And watch this. We're on a 15-minute chart right now. Watch when we pop down to the five. But my point is, right? What are they doing for you constantly? And again, like I said, this is your best entry. Imagine only worrying about this much in terms of drawdown. Yeah. And like I said, for anybody who's wondering like where your stop loss gets placed, stop loss gets placed at just core highs and lows. Just keep it simple like that. You don't have to overthink things. You don't have to keep moving the fucking stop loss. You are going to be better with taking partials than what we speak on um like your personality style in trading. We can do that in mentorship or whatever. But my thing is, I don't want you to start like overthinking like, yo, like where's the stop loss? Like, and if you're putting it, not to say it like that, but I want you to imagine like you're on like a battlefield. Okay. If you're like playing Call of Duty and you're like in the back and you're straight camping, right? A lot of people can't really see you. So you can kind of like, people don't like to be camped, you know what I mean, in the game. Smart money wants you to move around so they can fuck you over. You know what I mean? Imagine smart money being like an AI bot or like a straight, can literally look through the fucking wall and snipe you. That's smart money in this market. But when it comes to placing your stop loss, you don't want to get touched. You're going to be in areas that like are already mitigated. So that means that yes, this low is already taken, low risk buy area. You know what I mean? And we're on a 5-minute chart, and you can see on a very basic level, yes, they interact with this fair value gap hundreds of times. So you do have something to interact with in New York, no problem. And the same thing we're talking about here. You're not going to expect anything to move its fucking ass until some fucking liquidity is taken somewhere. Get what I'm saying? So you need to stop being a worrier. And again, I totally get where um the gap was already touched here. So you're gonna have people like, well, what the fuck? We already came down here, but how do I know it's gonna work? We already came down here, and I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. You're gonna start coming in here and marking everything as new sell side liquidity. No, brother. Now, we done already talked about some structure stuff, right? Lows already taken, and I spoke about Asia, which is different than us talking just about um types of liquidity in general. But notice what type of low this is. This is a low of the day. So by default, in general, Friday, sorry, Friday took Thursday's low. So by definition, what are we doing? Daily turtle soup, brother. Now we can whip out the you know, I was about to say something wild. I don't even know if that's a thing I could say, but we're gonna whip out the big guns. Let's put it that way. All right. Now, this is the thing, right? We talked about how market structure will always trump funny lines. But this is my thing. I need you to understand. Yes, this is very simple. Shared. price. Your 43.74 level. Small gem, not going to say it twice. Your shared prices get referenced. And I mean that in a standard way. So that means you see how like somebody else is probably going to look at this, right? And again, let's check out this our perspective. Someone else is going to look at this and say, you know what, Jay, oh my God, bro, we went up here umpteen times. I don't understand. Why the fuck can't we just leave this area? We'd have been up here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, and then obviously we took out the liquidity, came back down, and now we're playing with that same share price again. And guess what? This is the point that I'm trying to prove. Notice how we're on an hour chart. Okay. Really quick. Really quick. Let me zoom in for your viewing pleasure. Oh, pause. That sounded crazy. No, but I'm saying, look how big this candle is. All right. Okay. Now watch. Notice this, right? It's janky a little bit, but it's bullish, right? Okay. Now listen. There's somebody somewhere with all this being bullish. How many people you think that even know about Hoppy's work, my work, all of us who really be in the community with the go back stuff, right? How many people still looked at this thing and tried to sell this bitch off already? How many people you think tried to take sales here and got fried? How many people you think are still trying to take sales? I want you to notice something. We're on a 1 minute chart right here, okay? Now listen. Yes, I get it. You're still thinking the lines alone and not looking at structure, not looking at relative strength, not looking at liquidity, not having a thing about time. Now you're probably in this area scared and confused. And it's not your fault. It's by accident. You're learning. But what I'm trying to say, you need to be able to come in and start understanding what we're actually doing or not. So, what that means on a very basic level, we spoke about why structure needs to be on your mind. So, yes, we took out a basic daily low. So, you need to automatically be looking the top side. And on top of that, my friend, if you had noticed this, okay, do you see how weird this is that this is here? Okay. And someone else is going to argue, right? Well, Jay, I don't really understand. Why is the gap another focus? You know, we understand internal versus external liquidity on a basic or advanced level, depending on where you are, right? But my point is, yes, someone else is going to come in and say, hell, we already used this gap. I don't understand why we need to get back up here. Right, right. But it's okay. You're still learning about how to separate versus of liquidity, which is totally okay. We'll put that in yellow. And just understanding, let's come down here. We're on the 243 right now, but every single power of three had the same targeting. Okay. So that means, and I've said this for gold for a while, but you need to start being able to operate individually how each asset, if you study NASDAQ, you trade it, or you study gold and you trade it. Like it's not like we're using all the PO3s the same way. We're really not. Like gold really operates, and I've said this on a prior video, but it operates with that 3, that 9, that 27. If you really want to snap on that intraday and really have a clear profile, because even if you started to look at this, right, and look at what we got awarded, you know what I mean? Your 27 really gave the fucking gem. That's what I'm trying to say. But this is my thing. If you understand targeting, right? You're not going to come in here and be that dickhead who's still trying to sell this after this is all the way done. You're going to come in here and look at this and be like, oh, there we go. Down again. Here we go. No, no, no. You're just going to take a loss and scare yourself quickly. And then you're going to watch all this and you're going to assume just because it's slow that it's not real. I don't want you to do that. This right here, by definition, is your stop run. Okay. I know people are new to the concepts. You're probably rereading Hobby's book a million times, and I need you to do that. But when it comes to the stop run, it's just honestly for liquidity purposes. Okay. Liquidity stuff. We'll put it basic for my free YouTube mentorship that way. I won't go into detail for that one. Again, guys, you want to come to mentorship, we'll go into detail. This is for you. This is all free. It's all for you. Okay. So this is my thing. We took lows. You have a 27 DR stop run. Okay. Once you start seeing bodies and whatever start to respect this upper quadrant still, yes, you know that this is just a stop run. Or if you're just familiar with liquidity, you can already anticipate it. It's things with experience. Okay. And like I said, versions of liquidity that you are starting to get familiar with now. We talk about power of 3 liquidity. Okay. So you have highs that are unfulfilled with a range, right? And again, like I said, there's somebody somewhere getting fried that was trying to sell that shit. And listen, let's go back to a simple idea. And like I said, bro, I really only wear Nike shit at this point. I got a lot of Nike shit. I got too much Nike shit. I'm not wearing like Nike Techs, no dumbass shit like that. No, I'm old. Nah, fuck all that. But I fucks with Nike, brother. I buy this shit a lot. And I mean, I'm starting like a Adidas collection soon. I'm starting with like all the Tyshawn's, honestly. I mean, I skate, right? So I don't care about no Sambas and fuck all that. But I really just want to all the colorways for the Tyshawn's. I got all these shots. I have damn near every colorway times two. But I love skating in the shots. My favorite shoe. I will continue to buy it until they stop making them bitches. Also, I do need a pair of ice creams. Um, bro, it's just a classic thing. Like, bro, I got clips of me skating in ice creams when I was like fucking like 13. Like, you know what I mean? Hold on. I mentioned something about this gap here. This is why we didn't need a dealing range. We understand what the point is here. The objective is we need to fill gap. I said before, up versus down is just objective based. So you're not going to sit here and just say, oh shit, well, there's nowhere to go, or oh my God, are we going to reverse? Like, dude, if there's something we still need to do, there is no reversal. All you have is rebalance. The concept of rebalance versus reversal is another topic I'm going to save for probably a group chat in my Discord, to be honest. We need to do that. But outside of that, I think that we need to talk more on how the Judas swing is more effective for you, especially because this is simple. Same thing with the Nike symbol. Okay. Simple Judas swing, took out liquidity. You know that you need to be participating down here. No, you're not in danger down here. None of this stuff, no matter how much it wants to piss you off and retrace for a couple minutes, you're not in danger, my brother. Okay. Now listen, I totally get where the NASDAQ again. Okay. We spoke about The turtle. Okay. And this is the thing. I'm hearing a lot in the messages I'm getting recently, just connecting with new people. Um, I know that you're new with all the content, but I don't want you to overthink these gold back levels. It's not the point here. You get what I mean? Like, it's when it comes to holding your trades or not holding your trades, it's not about the level at that point. It's you understanding the environment. And that's why we talk about AMD cycles and understanding how to interpret and use the environment effectively. You can't trade at X how you trade at A. You can't trade M how you trade A. Because if you do, it's going to piss you the fuck off. You see my point. Not understanding what we're doing in here, right? And again, me personally, just because I'm a gangster, right? I come on top of the stuff that we all learn together, and I improve it. I optimize it for us all. So we've talked about this before on this channel, but I just want to remind you, I've added like another version of this to your Friday for your day theory. Okay. So when it comes to the Friday, it's just going to be a reaccumulation or a redistribution. Okay. So you need to understand the effects. You need to understand what you're dealing with. Okay. The same way that you identify an X is how you're going to identify it on Friday versus that A. Okay. So that means it's coming down to expected price action. It's also coming down to once you figure it out by expected price action, you can then forward that thinking into this is how my brain works. Just listen. Functionality. Once I get wind of expected price action, I have an idea about function. Once I have an idea about function, why do you think I have no problems knowing what we need to fucking do today? I know exactly what we need to do today. What function does X have? A is responsible for making liquidity. Think about it like this. X is responsible for taking the shit. Let's keep it fucking simple like that. There's a X, A, M, D. You are going to restart because your Friday is actually setting you up for your Monday. It has to restart liquidity and do other things, or it has to start attacking stuff that we didn't really get to over the course of the week. And again, A and M, it has functionality. Do you get my point? All it does is make the shit. M, Vin Diesel, okay? It's just literally too far, too fast, okay? Distribution, you are trendy. You hold shit. When you're trading in A day, the reason why you're getting pissed off because you're coming in here and expecting something like this or something like this or something like your Monday or your Wednesday or your Thursday, your Friday. And you're not understanding that, oh shit, I'm blowing accounts. I can't hold shit. Fuck, I'm scared to hold shit now. So now when it's actually a day where you're actually, it's I'm not going to use the word permitted. I can use that word, but when you're the user is supposed to hold this. The user is supposed to hold that. User being me and you. We're playing Call of Duty. You need to be in some of these areas that the bot is not going to snipe you. It can't see you. You took liquidity, turtle soup, sell that bitch. The top of A is already taken. Now you aim for the bottom of it. The whole thing is just a liquidity barrel. What am I doing today? Oh, you started selling shit again? Why? Like I said, you can scalp it. You can scalp it. But what are we really doing? Still bullish. Also, it's 11:07. leading you into my last thought. Once we speak about function, and bias is tied into all this stuff. Now, this I'll do with my students. I'm not going to lecture you about how important the timing is. I'll leave that to you for your studying. Okay. But, you know, it's not difficult. I make it easy. So I'm tired. I'm halfway through The Godfather Part 2. I gotta finish it. I might as well finish it after this to get food and shit, actually. It's not a bad idea. Hmm. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye. Actually, oh, Merry Christmas.